Well, hello and welcome to Dakota Prep's video for sizing overload protection for motors. So we have this question here. It says where separate overload protection is used, heaters, right, thermal heaters or whatever, what is, or maybe even an electronic, right, overload unit on a starter. That's what we're using to protect from overload. So in that case, what is the maximum setting or rating for overload protection of a 25 horse, 460 volt, three-phase motor with a nameplate full load current rating of 29 amps, a 1.15 service factor, and a 50 degrees Celsius ambient temperature rating? So in this case, because it is overload protection, and because the famous 430.6A2 says, hey, for separate overload protection, you can just use the nameplate rating, right, which is 29 amps. That means we do not need to go look at the famous table 430.250 for this. We can just use the number found on the motor nameplate. Okay, so the number found on the motor nameplate says, first of all, we want to look at section 430.32, which says that, hey, your overload protection shall not exceed, right, less than or equal to, in this case, right, this is our maximum, absolute maximum for overload protection, our nameplate full load current rating. So our nameplate rating times whatever multiplier we find in table 430.52. So let me move this over and let's bring up table 430.52 and see what it has to say. It says, well, okay, first of all, you know your overload protection has to be less than or equal to your nameplate rating, which in this case is 29 amps, times, look at our table 430.52. It says, well, is your motor marked with the service factor of 1.15 or greater? It sure is, 1.15 or greater, so that's 125%. Now, it does not meet this other requirement, but it only has to meet one of them. Is it marked for a 115% service factor? Sure enough, it is. So 29 amps times 125%. We plug that into our trusty calculator, and we get a grand total of 36.2, was that what it was? 36.25 amps, 36 amps. Cannot exceed 36 amps on this under normal conditions, okay? Pro tip, guys, don't max out your overload protection at first. Right, set it for your nameplate rating if it's adjustable. It may not be adjustable. I get it, if you got to go find heaters, that's kind of a pain. But if it is adjustable, start around that full load current, see if it runs. Remember, you own that motor for at least a year.